Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello dear friends, welcome back to Spiritism and the media here on Kardec Radio. Today I'd like to bring a message from the book Vinha de Luz by Emmanuel, channeled by Francisco Xavier, Chico Xavier. Unfortunately, this book has not been translated to English yet, so I translated a few parts of this message. The name of the message is Execute Well. So I brought some parts of these messages for us to think about how we can bring that lesson by Emmanuel to our daily lives. And so here Emmanuel, as usual in this book, he brings a part of the gospel and he take that part from the gospel to give us a broadened explanation about how we can think about that and relate that to our lives as Christians, as Spiritists. And here he says, he brings this part from the Gospel according to Luke, chapter 3, verse 13, when Jesus says, "Don't collect any more than you are required to." So Emmanuel asks us to think about that message and to relate that message to our context in our religious life. So Jesus is saying, don't collect any more than you are required to, and Emmanuel brings that to us, and he talks about this relation to the spiritual messages that we already have today, the messages that we receive. So let's read a little bit about what Emmanuel says, and then we can try to bring that to us. So Emmanuel says, "How many ask for new spiritual messages without having met the sacred recommendations of the old messages? How many apprentices are afflicted to transmit the truth to the people without having fulfilled even the smallest part of the responsibility of the home that they have in the world? They demand revelations, emotions, and news, forgetting that there are also inalienable duties challenging the eternal spirit." So here I'd like us to think, as we are talking about media, let's think about the messages that we receive, the books that we already have in the Spiritist movement. And many times people want more and more new books, more and more new messages, and many times they give preference to books and to messages that we receive from the spiritual world, and not the ones that we have here, and they want new messages and new texts. And let's see what Emmanuel says. Let's read it again. "How many ask for new spiritual messages without having met the sacred recommendations of the old messages?" So first of all, we already have a good amount of books for us to study. Okay, we may say we may not have that, all of them translated into English. Yes, we do not have, but we have a good amount of books in English that we can also rely on. For example, just to begin with, we have all the books by Allan Kardec. We have the Gospel according to Spiritism, the Spiritist book. We have the Genesis, Heaven and Hell, the Medium's book. We have the Spiritist Review. So just by seeing that, we have a good amount of books for us to study. If we go to Chico Xavier and the collection by André Luiz, those books telling us what is the life in the spiritual world. So we have more than 10, 13 books from that collection. So the collections is already translated to English, and we have that available for us to read and study. We have Leon Denis, and we have books by Joana de Angelis, channeled by Divaldo Franco. So we have a good amount of books, we have a good amount of messages. And many times, not only that, many times people go to a Spiritist center waiting and willing to receive a message from the spirits exclusively to them. For example, if I go to Spirit Center thinking about that one spirit will will give me a message through a medium exclusively for me. And then let's read again what Emmanuel says here. Many times we want that without having the chance, without paying attention to all the messages, all the texts that we already have, because we have a good amount of them, and we have to study. We must study them, and no matter if we already read once, for example, the Spirit's book, let's read it again, because there are a lot of knowledge, a lot of teachings for us to receive. And not only those, going back to the gospel, we have the Bible, we have the gospel, we have all the teachings that Jesus brought to us written in the gospel. So we have them for us to read, for us to study as well. So bringing back to what Jesus said in the gospel here, according to Luke, don't collect any more than you are required to. So Emmanuel is saying that we already have more. Why do we need to ask for more? So let's first see all the amount of information that we already have available here. Let's study that information that we have. Let's try to apply them in our daily lives. And after we have done all of them, then we can ask for new messages. But I don't know, for at least talking for myself, I don't think that I will be able to read and to really study all those books in one lifetime, because there are so much information for us to digest. And Emmanuel also goes on and he says, it is useless for the man to deceive himself with beautiful words without adhering to them intimately, or withdrawing to the protection on others in the spheres of the flesh or in spiritual circles close to him. So another point, okay, we may receive those beautiful words, but if we do not act, putting those words into practice in our own lives, or I may be here, for example, repeating those beautiful words, bringing those lessons for us, but if I don't turn off the camera and go and apply them in my daily life, that is useless for me, that is useless for whoever does that. So here is another message Emmanuel is saying. So it's not only about having those teachings, not only about having them available and studying them, but it's a lot and mostly about applying them in our daily lives. So as usual, I will bring a message for the book Happy Life by Joana de Angelis, channeled by the medium Divaldo Pereira Franco. So I'm opening the book randomly, and we have here lesson number 18. Constant rebelliousness throws the mind, body, and soul out of balance. It is not the flesh that is weak, it is the spirit that is rebellious. Keep your energy in check, do not let it throw you off balance. Rebelliousness emits a poison that unsettles everyone nearby. A rebellious person inspires neither friendship nor compassion. Keep calm no matter what happens. What is not yet resolved will soon be. Thank you so much for your company. May God bless all of us. See you next week.